I'm Annie Blackwood.
Three, two, one. What do you think sets Uber apart from cabs or other sources of rides that students around campus and other professionals in Knoxville use?
I personally believe that the main thing that sets apart Uber is the app because people can look on their phone and just press "I need a ride." Whereas with a taxi or anything like that, you have to make a phone call and there has to be research done. With an app, it's just a simple press of a button and someone comes and picks you up. So I think that's really the defining point. Otherwise, I think they're pretty similar aside from the fact that people are driving their own cars. Um, but I really think that it's the app and the easiness of the situation.
How do you communicate with your boss since Uber is basically a company that uses an app for most of its clientele?
So our boss will either email or text us if she's in town or if she wants to encourage us to get out and drive, and she'll send us emails compiling all of the basically information for the week. So different incentives, which would be like if you get this amount of rides during an hour from the hours of 11 to 3 at night, then we'll give you an $18 bonus or something like that. So every day is different, and so they like to send those out weekly to kind of give you a weekly schedule. So that's cool, and they'll text us and that kind of stuff. But the main headquarters, we don't really talk to them. We just talk to the Knoxville boss. So we have someone that we report to in Knoxville, but I've never spoken in person to her. I've only spoken to one representative of Uber, and that was just to make sure that all my applications were submitted properly.
Is there a minimum number of hours you have to drive in a week?
They'll email you to make sure that you know that you're wanted on the road, but I believe that you have to drive one rider a month to stay active as an Uber driver. So if you just get one ride in the month period, then you're okay. At least in Knoxville, I think that it may vary rules-wise. Everything kind of varies with Uber from city to city, rates and hours, that kind of stuff. But for Knoxville, it's pretty lenient, which is really nice.
Would you recommend to friends, family, anybody like that looking for a job to join Uber?
I think it's an awesome job in respects to having flexibility, and I think it's really great for people who need to make a lot of money quickly. There's a strategy, and I've talked to a lot of other drivers that I met on the roads that you kind of like figure it all out, and you can not work the system, but you just kind of learn like spots to be, where to go if you want to ride, because it becomes a competitive atmosphere because there's 20 different Uber drivers and you want to get the ride because you want to make the money. And so but it's also a community that's pretty friendly. I've never had anyone be mean to me just because I got a ride and they didn't. So I think that I would definitely suggest it just because I think the flexibility is awesome. But I mean, I know that people in New York make 90 grand a year doing Uber if that's their main source of income. So even though that's New York, it's still a lot of money, and I know people here that do it for their main source of income as well.
Are there any hot spots or like typical routes that you've noticed that people request rides on when you've been driving, or any areas that people typically need a ride from or to?
Certain events will be pretty big, so basketball games or football games, obviously. A lot of surge pricing happens around those times, but also I don't know, there's just a lot of people that need rides. So that's a really great spot to be around, just anywhere if there's a concert downtown, that kind of stuff. I've noticed that Crown is a pretty big area for people picking up because so many college students live out there and it's far from the Strip, whereas other people in the Fort or, like in Evolve, those kind of things can walk to the bars. So I think a lot of people from Crown get Ubers at night.